Alright, welcome back. This is a video on section 1.3 quadratic equations. Alright, and I am going to walk through the problems on page 117. So, page 117, we'll do problem 13. It says solve each equation by factoring. Verify your solution using your graphing utility. Alright, so it's x squared minus 25 equals 0. Alright, so there's many ways to solve quadratics. You can factor to solve, you can use the quadratic formula, you can use completing the square. So this one, I guess you're going to be responsible for knowing how to solve a quadratic equation by each of these methods, right? So by factoring, well, what would this factor to? This is a difference of squares. We need two numbers basically that multiply to negative 25 and add up to 0. Since there is no middle term, it must be 0. And that would be 5 and negative 5. So this factors to x plus 5, x minus 5 equals 0. So if either one of these factors is 0, then the product of them will be 0, right? Because 0 times whatever is 0, isn't it? So you only need one of them to be 0. So we have to check what will make x plus 5 0. Negative 5 will, right? So x equals negative 5 is a solution. What will make x minus 5 0? Well, positive 5 will. So positive 5 is also a solution. This particular problem, you could also just solve it directly. So let me do it that way as well. So x squared minus 25 equals 0. So what I could do is just add 25 to both sides here. And I get x squared equals positive 25. And now you just take the square root of both sides to get rid of the square. So if you take the square root of x squared, you get x. And if you take the square root of 25, what do you get? Well, there's two roots, right? Square root of 25 is 5 because 5 times 5 is 25. But also, negative 5 works because if you square negative 5, you also get positive 25. So that would be a way to solve it in a direct manner. So this is solving by factoring, this is solving directly. Let's look at 23. 4x squared plus 9 equals 12x, and 12x. And we want to solve that by factoring, so before I factor, I guess I would want this to equal 0, so I need to bring this over, and if I bring it over, I subtract it both sides by 12x, which is going to give me 4x squared minus 12x plus 9 is 0. Alright, now let's see. Well, it looks like it's what we call a perfect square trinomial, because let me just try and see that 2x times 2x is that, right? And there's a minus here, so I'll put a minus 3 here. Minus 3 times minus 3 is 9, right? And then if I multiply these two and double it, I do get that, right? So 2x times minus 3 is negative 6x, double it, negative 12x. So that's what this factors to. So we call this a double root, right? This is where if you're to graph it, the graph is just going to like bounce off the x-axis at 3/2, which is going to be the solution here. So if I take the square root of both sides like that, well, the square goes away, so now I just have 2x minus 3 equals 0, and then add 3, so 2x is 3, and then divide by 2, so x is 3/2. And technically, it's a root twice. Alright, let's look at it on the calculator and see what I mean by what a double root looks like. So I'm going to put this in the calculator like this, right? Let me clear all this out. So 4x squared minus 12x plus 9. Alright, graph. You see how it just touches the x-axis? It does not pass through, right? It's sitting on the x-axis right at 3/2, which is 1.5. If I go to second trace 0, left bound, enter, right bound, enter, enter. You see I get 1.5. That's just kind of a, I don't know what you call it. It's not exact, right? So there's that little bit of error. Ignore it. The answer is exactly 1.5, as we've already shown over here where we solved it by hand. Okay, so that's a double root. This other one up here, we should probably graph that as well. X squared minus 25. Graph. Notice it crosses at -5 and at +5, right? You could also go to your table and see that at -5 you get 0, so that's one solution. And at +5 you get 0, so that's also a solution. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have? How about something like 29? 4 times x minus 2 over x minus 3 plus 3 over x is equal to -3 over x times x minus 3. Alright, that one's factored already. That's nice. So it looks like we can just multiply everything here by what? X times x minus 3. Alright, so the x minus 3 cancels, leaving me with 4 times x times that, right? So 4 times x minus 2. Right? If that doesn't make sense, pause it and look at it. The x minus 3 is the only thing that's missing, so since x minus 3, the only thing that cancels, therefore it's that times that times that. You have 3 factors here. 4 is a factor, x minus 2 is a factor, and x is also a factor. Alright, plus, here the x cancels, so it's 3 times x minus 3. And here the x and the x minus 3 cancel, so it's just -3. Alright, so now I can distribute this, so 4x times x is 4x squared. 4x times minus 2 is minus 8x. That times that is 3x. That times that is minus 9, equals -3. So 4x squared, and we can put those together, that's minus 5x. And I can bring this over just by adding 3, so that would be minus 6. Alright, now, since it says in this section to solve by factoring, I'm assuming this will factor. Right, so we're looking for what? 2 numbers. Let's see, the first 2 numbers have to multiply to that. So I'm just going to guess here. So 2x and say 2x and 3 and 2x and 2. Let's see if that works. So that would be 4x squared. That would be 4 and 6. And there's no way I'm going to get 5 out of 4 and 6, so that can't be it. So one of these must be like, now let's try this. Let's try, leave it 2 and 2, and we'll do 1 is 6 and 1. I don't think that's going to work either because that simplifies. But let's try it. So that works because that times that is that. And these two work because that times that is that. What we want is a way to get 5 out of what? 2 and 12? We're not getting that, right? So it's got to be a 4. Right? And if that's a 4, that has to be a 1. And this one could be, I don't know, a 2 and a 3 maybe? Right, so that times that gives us that, that times that gives us that, and then we have 12 and 2. 12 and 2 isn't going to work. But what if this one were 3? And this one were 2? So now that's what? 8 and 3? There we go, finally. So 8 and 3, I can get 5 out of that, right? So, what I want the 8 to be bigger, right? So that's going to be minus. I want the negative to be bigger, I mean, because it's a negative answer. So that's negative 8 and then positive 3. Alright, so I found it. Let's see. So that's 4x plus 3 and x minus 2. So we'll set 4x minus 3 equal to 0. 4x is 3, so x is 3/4. And over here I have x minus 2 equals 0, so x is 2. Alright, so there's the two solutions to that. Let me make sure that's right. Of course, the answer for this one is not there, so let's check it. Go to y equal, and I've got to graph this horrible thing. So 4 parentheses x minus 2 over parentheses x minus 3 plus 3 over x. Alright, and then I'm also going to graph this side right here. So that's I don't know if you can see this or not. I'll raise it up a little bit. So it's negative 3 over parentheses x minus 3 close, cross fingers, graph. We're looking for where they intersect, right? And we can see it looks like an intersection here and here, which agrees with 3/4 and 2, doesn't it? I'm going to actually zoom in right here, so I trace, zoom in on this area. There's the first graph. Here's the second graph, part of it anyway. Alright, so let's do intersect. And go over here. Okay. Enter, enter, enter. That's not good. I get 0.318975 something or other, so that's definitely not what I was expecting. So I must have made a mistake somewhere. Oh, that's a plus. But still, that would be a negative 3/4. I must have made a mistake. I either made a mistake there or I graphed it wrong. Alright, let's try the other one. Let's go to the table and see if 2 is an answer. 2 is not. Because they're not the same right there. So I put it in wrong. Oh, it's an x. No, it isn't. 4. Let me try this. I don't think that's going to make a difference, but oh, there it is. I put 3 over 3. I bet you guys saw that too, didn't you? Alright. Come on. I'm going to have to zoom out again. Well, we can see one of them there, it looks like. So zoom 6. Alright, so that one right there, that looks like negative 3/4, doesn't it? And if I hit trace, you zoom in right there. Zoom in. Yeah, that's about negative 3/4. Boy, I sure hope it is. So let's go to intersect. Enter, enter, enter. Yay, negative 0.75, so that's negative 3/4. And if I got that right, I'm pretty sure I got the other one right, so I won't bother you anymore with that. So I've checked them. It's a pain in the butt, but it is checkable. All right. And I think that's probably plenty of time for this video, and I will come back with a second part. Thanks for watching.